This is Eddie Hearn, Matchroom Boxing. You're watching Sporting Icons. You don't need to be anywhere else.
Right, I've got a question for you here, which is Shelly Finkel responsible for Anthony Joshua versus Deontay Wilder not happening? And I'm going to give you guys a couple of scenarios. Now, I'm not accusing him of doing it. I'm just merely asking the question. Because there's some things that's been going around that's a little bit suspect. Because Shelly Finkel, only, 24 hours ago now, said that they never agreed anything for Wilder versus Joshua. But yeah, I did a video on this, reading the article that Shelly Finkel said, we have officially accepted the offer from Team Joshua to fight in the UK. We have officially accepted it. Then what happens is he then gets a contract and then the contract doesn't get signed because there's no date, no venue, no rematch. But yet here he is with Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder shouting around how he's on, but yet no date and venue. But yet 24 hours ago he says that they've always known the date and the venue. So there seems to be a lot of contradictions, and it seems that even unprovoked, even without even asking about Joshua and Eddie Hearn, whenever Shelly Finkel talks, he has to try to downgrade them to try to make it look like they don't want the fight. Is it possible that Shelly Finkel has sabotaged the entire deal just because he's a little bit upset because Eddie Hearn called him Shirley Winkle? Something as petty as that. Maybe Shelly Finkel is a emotional guy. He sees this as revenge. You insult me, now I'm going to do everything that I can to drag you through the mud. And he's been using both sides as mudslinging matches to achieve this. But he hasn't achieved it at all. If anything, anybody with any kind of common sense knows that the reason that the fight didn't happen was because Team Wilder did not sign the contract. Had they just signed the contract, the fight would be on right now, and we'll be looking forward to the fight in the next 2 or 3 weeks. But they didn't sign it for terms that they agreed, because there's no date and venue. But we knew the date, we knew the venue. We didn't know the exact date, we knew within a 2-week period, last week of October, first week of November, but it would 100% be at the Principality Stadium, Cardiff, Wales. Then they flip it, well, there's no rematch. Even though they said, well, you know what, we can overlook the rematch. But yet Wilder's saying how he's confident he's going to knock out Joshua. If you're that confident and if you really believe in yourself, then you wouldn't need a rematch. Joshua always has one. Eddie Hearn always puts one in there because they know in boxing anything can happen. So why is it all these contradictions coming out of Shelly Finkel? Why is it every time he's on stage? Look at the London press conference. Tyson Fury was goading at Deontay Wilder and Shelly Finkel had to interrupt to make it look like, and had to mention that, well, we chose you because you are the best around and you actually wanted the fight, where, you know, Anthony Joshua and Eddie Hearn didn't. I mean, there was no need to even mention that. Anthony Joshua shouldn't even be mentioned. He shouldn't be needed to be mentioned in this whole build-up. But it seems every single person from both camps at times just keep on mentioning Anthony Joshua. Do you really need Joshua to sell this fight? Is this fight not good enough on merit that you need to use Anthony Joshua's name? And I'm sure Joshua's looking in on this and saying, this is brilliant. You guys are exposing yourselves that you need my name because your fight isn't good enough. Because outside of my name, people will look at this fight for what it really is. It's not a legitimate 50-50 fight. At this stage, it's not. Tyson Fury is too early in his comeback. And if Deontay Wilder even goes past round 3, then it shows what a hype job. Well, I can't even call Deontay Wilder a hype job. He's never been a hype job. He's unknown even in his own country. But the point is that Shelly Finkel says originally that we've accepted the offer from Team Joshua. And then only 24 hours ago, he says, we never accepted anything. We never agreed to anything. And then he says that the date and venue for Wilder vs Fury, they've always known that. Even though for quite some time, Frank Warren, Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, had been saying, well, we're still waiting on the date and the venue because there's so many venues and that want it. We're looking at the best ones. But yet Shelly Finkel saying that he knew all along what the date and the venue was. Why did he say that? To try and escape from the fact that this was one of his reasons why Wilder didn't sign for Joshua. And maybe Shelly Finkel is whispering in the ear of Deontay Wilder, don't accept this. You're worth so much more than this. Basically, he scuppered the whole undisputed fight. Potentially. I don't know that. And I know that there's going to be a lot of Wilder fans who just would refuse point blank to believe it. And maybe you're right. Maybe it's got nothing to do with Shelly Finkel. Maybe he really wanted to make the fight. But with the way that Wilder is acting, and he's acting all girly, he's acting all butthurt, and he's bitching about things like, Joshua, you ruined this fight. But if you just think about it just on the basis of, you accepted a deal. Had you have just signed, the fight would be on. So you are the reason the fight didn't happen. So this can only lead me to one place, and that's Shelly Finkel. Because he keeps contradicting things all the time. So has he been playing off Joshua fans, Wilder fans against each other? Trying to blame Joshua and Eddie Hearn, particularly because Eddie Hearn called him Shirley Winkle. Did he scupper this entire deal? Is it his fault? Have Team Joshua, the fans of Joshua, blaming Wilder and the fans of Wilder blaming Joshua, but really we're all wrong? We should be looking at one guy, Shelly Finkel. As I said, I'm not accusing, I'm asking the question. Is it possible that he scuppered the entire deal? Because I said, it just doesn't make sense to me at all. Not one of this makes sense. If the only two sticking points are the date and venue, and of course the rematch, but yet you're willing to waive the rematch because you're confident that your guy's going to win. So the date and venue, as I said, Principality Stadium, we knew this. The date, last week of October, first week of November. Now, I know that Wilder isn't the sharpest tool in the drawer. He really isn't. So, has he been had? Has he been lied to? Is this why he reacts the way that he does? Because he truly believes that Joshua or Team Joshua didn't want the fight, that they ruined this. Because he's incapable of thinking for himself to say, but they offered me a contract, all I had to do was sign and the fight would be on. Because 15 million is not smackhead money. It really isn't. This is a legitimate offer. 15 million. No opponent of Joshua has ever even got even half that amount. Including Joseph Parker, who, guess what, had one belt. Wilder's got one belt. Joshua has 3. And he just needs that one for undisputed. Just one. But 15 million is not enough. How is 15 million not enough? Especially when Wilder's running around saying that it's all about legacy, it's not about money. Again, he's contradicting himself a lot, which leads me to believe that either he knows it's a lie, or he's being fed lies, and he doesn't quite know what's going on. Are we looking at the wrong person? Are Team Joshua blaming Team Wilder, and Team Wilder blaming Team Joshua, as in the fans, and we've all been wrong? Is it possible that Shelly Finkel is the one who ruined? Just because he wants the blame game? Because he's feeling butthurt about being called Shirley Winkle? Or he just doesn't like Eddie Hearn? Is it possible? That's what I'm asking you. Is it possible? For me, yeah, it's very possible. Very, very possible. And the thing is, he'll have like a little bit of backup as well in Frank Warren. Because Frank Warren would do everything that he can to try and make Eddie Hearn look bad. To make Joshua look bad. Even though for a long time, he's been sucking up to Joshua, thinking that maybe when Joshua's contract with Matchroom ends, maybe he's got a chance of getting Joshua. And believe you me, had he have got Joshua, Tyson Fury would have been thrown under the bus. Guarantee it. He wouldn't have even signed Tyson Fury. Not at all. But because Joshua extended his deal with Matchroom, suddenly he became a hater of Anthony Joshua. Why? Because of Eddie Hearn. He doesn't like Eddie Hearn. I understand the rivalry between them because they're both UK promoters trying to vie for the #1 position. But Shelly Finkel is a manager. He's not a promoter. But he got butthurt because Eddie Hearn called him Shirley Winkle. Is it possible? I think it's entirely possible that we've all been blaming the wrong fighter, the wrong teams, when ultimately it was Shelley Finkel who held all the cards. Personally, I think that Eddie Hearn should have stuck to what he said originally, which was cut Shelley Finkel out of the deal and talk directly to Deontay Wilder's other manager and trainer, of course, in Jay Diaz and Al Heyman. Just deal with them guys. Shelley Finkel, move to the side. Anyway, it's a little food for thought. Maybe it's not. Maybe I've misread everything. Maybe I imagined the fact that he'd contradicted himself. Maybe. Drop your thoughts below. Click that thumbs up and subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.